What's up, good people? I'm just Major. This is the weekend. So every Saturday morning, I'll come to you, just talk about the different subjects that I discussed in my shorts earlier in the week, and pretty much we'll get right into it. So first off the bat, we had Monday. We were talking about city office space pretty much throughout the country, and how the vacancy rate for city office space has been pretty much plummeting. So with businesses, not necessarily going back to the offices, and you got some companies like JP Morgan Chase with Jamie Dimon pretty much demanding that their top execs or some of their top execs show up to the office Monday through Friday, pretty much because they need to do meetings in person and that kind of thing. So, or, train and stuff like that. So yeah, city office space pretty much around the country is at a 50% vacancy rate. So some states are pretty much hit harder than others, like Texas. So in Houston and Austin, the vacancy rate over there is higher than 60% actually. I think it's like 61 and in Austin, or 63 in Houston or something like that. It might be, vice versa. But yeah, so, and now there could be a real estate play on that, but that's a lot of office space. And then you're talking about, especially if it's in a downtown area, those are some really big buildings. But, a lot of real estate companies and commercial real estate companies at that have been doing that as far as turning a lot of these office spaces into condos. But yeah, that's a lot of office space, and talking about a vacancy rate 60%. Yeah. But here are some of the numbers. In Dallas, it's at 53.8%. In LA, it's at 48.1%. Chicago, 48.6% vacancy. New York, 46.8%. DC 46.1, and Philly is at 42.5% vacancy. So yeah, it's some cities they're higher than 50, and some they're lower. And then we're talking about earlier in the week, well, not earlier in the week really, but this week too, there was some really big stocks that were reporting earnings. I think some of the banks kicked them off, but like Bank of America. Then you had Netflix reporting, Tesla reporting, stuff like that. And Bank of America, their earnings were at 8.2 billion, and that was up 15% from the first quarter for last year. And then you had Netflix reporting, but they were reporting mixed earnings. And I remember last year, even last summer maybe, Netflix was pretty much having some real issues with their business. And I don't know if it's hit yet with them and with the code and not letting people use your code or password or something like that to get into Netflix. I don't know if that's a friends and family thing that they're cutting out, or just like you can't give anybody your password or something like that. Some passwords, when you get into these streaming sites, they're geographically based. So if you're not in a particular city or state, they pretty much know, I guess, by your IP address, and they're not letting you use it anyway. So yeah, Netflix reported on mixed earnings, but they've pretty much rebounded from where they were last year. And then Tesla missed on their earnings, where they actually missed on revenue and profit. And their profit margins, of course, have dipped below 20%. But Tesla has been slashing prices all year. I think last week I was doing a video about them slashing prices and saying that was the 5th time that they slashed prices. But I think they slashed prices again before, like a couple of days before, or not a day or two before they reported earnings this week. And then their earnings dipped below 20%, and the actual stock price ended up dropping 10% on Friday, I believe, or Thursday. And the price dropped down to $163 a share. Now, there's news that some analysts have lowered their price target down to 230 from 250, but that's still a big jump from where they are now. So there are some analysts that still highly believe in Tesla, but then there are some that don't. I've seen an analyst say, I don't know, but I've seen an analyst say that, throughout the price cuts and all of that, and Tesla missing on their earnings with profit and margin, that some analysts are saying that their earnings will end up, well, not their earnings, but their stock price will end up dropping down to $28. But I don't see that happening, but if it does, we'll see. But yeah, other news. Ryan Reynolds. So apparently Deadpool can do it all. So remember, he was going around doing all these commercials. I know I was seeing it a lot on some YouTube ads with Mint Mobile. I was under the impression that he started the company, but he was just pretty much, partnering with the company. And excuse me. And he had a 25% stake in the company. But his 25% stake, when Mint Mobile sold to T-Mobile, his 25% stake earned him $300 million. So now he's doing it again. So flipping money. So now he's partnering with a fintech company out of Canada. It's called Nuvei. He's already got an ad with them. Pretty interesting ad, kind of silly, kind of funny. But yeah, pretty interesting ad with Ryan Reynolds and his dry humor, so to speak. But yeah, partnering again with Nuvei, a Canadian fintech company, and I think they are pretty much like a pay-as-you-go, something like that. But yeah, that's Ryan Reynolds. So then thinking about fintech, Apple, man. Apple has their arms and legs in everything. They're everywhere, almost like gremlins. But yeah, Apple, man, they're in fintech now, of course, with the Apple Card. And now with the Apple Card, they've launched a savings account where you can only get the savings account if you have the Apple Card. Now, the Apple Card is a credit card. So I don't know. That's something that I haven't heard of before, with a credit card necessarily having a savings account. Normally, it's a credit card that's affiliated with a bank where you can get a savings account with the bank. But yeah, Apple is, doing it all. So they're in fintech now with the Apple Card, and then they're adding a savings account where you can get 4.15% annual percentage rate on your money. 4% a year is not bad at all. As a matter of fact, it's great based on what these banks and credit unions are giving now. I don't think you can get 4% from some of these banks in 10 years. I think a lot of these banks are giving like 0.5% or 0.25% or something like that. I hadn't had a savings account with a bank in ages, man. So yeah, Apple out there with a new fintech card, well, not fintech card, but with a new savings account. And they're partnering with Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs will end up, pretty much managing the savings account. So maybe that's the bank, so to speak, that they're, doing it with, or maybe they had to kind of affiliate or associate themselves with a bank, while they're offering a savings account. So yeah, but you can only get it if you have, excuse me, but you can only get it if you have an Apple Card. So yeah. Fox News ended up settling a defamation suit with the company Dominion. Now Dominion is like, I think that's like the electronic, all of them electronic pretty much for the most part. So that's the electronic voting technology company. And now Dominion is saying that Fox News pretty much pretty much ruined their business by spreading lies. So by them spreading the information, Fox News ended up having to pay nearly 800 million for damages to Dominion. So yeah, that's pretty much Fox News and how they ended up doing that. And now Fox News actually has another. They actually have another lawsuit pending with the company Smartmatic, and Smartmatic is suing them for $2.7 billion. So yeah, Fox News already, paid out damages to Dominion for 800 million, but the initial lawsuit that Dominion was claiming was 1.6 billion. So was it one? Yeah, 1.6 billion. So Dominion initially claimed damages of 1.6 billion, saying that Fox News, pretty much ruined their business. But yeah, so Fox News ended up paying out half of that, and now Smartmatic, another electronic voting technology company, is suing Fox for 2.7 billion. So man, it's already out there that Fox was spreading lies against Dominion. So I'm pretty sure they might have been spreading some lies against Smartmatic. So yeah, Smartmatic pretty much suing them for 2.7 billion. So we'll see how that goes. But it was all based on the 2020 presidential campaign with current President Joe Biden against former President Donald Trump. So yeah, and pretty much going in favor of, or spreading lies rather, in favor of former President Donald Trump. Walmart is closing stores around the entire country. I don't know where they started, but Walmart stores have been here in Atlanta and outskirts of Atlanta, metro Atlanta. They've always had issues with theft in Walmart. I remember being in law enforcement, and Walmart was one of our what we call hot spots, where we would just post up for 10 to 15 minutes a day, nearly every day, because they always had some issues going on. And it's number one at the list from my experience with Walmart was shoplifting. And if you notice, a ton of Walmarts, a majority of Walmarts, they're just in bad neighborhoods. I mean, I could 1, 2, 3 in my area are in bad neighborhoods, and they're not necessarily in my area, but they're within 10 miles of where I am. And Atlanta, you got pockets of bad area here, good area here, bad area here. So yeah, so a lot of these Walmarts are just pretty much in bad areas. So if they're doing it here in Atlanta, I'm pretty sure they had the motto, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that was 20 years ago when it wasn't broke. But now it's breaking all up. They're breaking up all the pieces, stealing all the TVs, all the computers, all the GameStops. I mean, not GameStops, all the, video game consoles. So yeah, so since 2016, get this, since 2016, Walmart has closed nearly 200 stores in 27 states. Man, that's a problem. So whether or not they bring these stores back in good neighborhoods, I don't know. A lot of these neighborhoods, a lot of these places, I remember years ago, like 2010, one of my best friends from high school, he still lives in LA. So, and he was telling me that they have voted against Walmart opening stores in LA. You can't even have you couldn't even have a Walmart. They couldn't get a Walmart in the city of LA because citizens, residents were voting against it. Why they were voting against it, I don't know. But if they saw the trend 10 years, well, not even 10 years ago, it was 2010. So, but if they saw the trend in 2010, they pretty much figured, or may have figured, I don't know, that Walmart is going to end up bringing, a lot of shoplifting and crime to the neighborhood. So, yeah. So, nearly 200 stores since 2016 in 20 states. And pretty much Walmart is saying that the stores are money pits. And they're money pits because people are stealing. And who's stealing? I don't know. But somebody's stealing. So, but yeah, so like I said, they're nearly in bad neighborhoods. I know where the neighborhoods are here in Atlanta, and I just know where the neighborhoods are. So yeah, but Walmart is pretty much saying they're closing them because they're money pits. And theft in some of these stores, they were saying, are at an all-time high. So mofos are stealing like ridiculously. So I don't know. Walmart doesn't, well, some of them, I don't know. They don't necessarily hire police or law enforcement to, be in their stores, because I know they have like a loss prevention team, stuff like that. And it gets really, really tricky with a loss prevention team because they can't arrest anybody. So if you can't arrest anybody, it's tough for you to stop somebody. And why are you stopping somebody, fighting with somebody, possibly getting yourself injured or hurt, or worse, and you're getting, I don't know what they're paying, but I'm just, guessing $10 to $15 an hour for loss prevention in some of these places like Walmart. So it's not even worth getting hurt over. So maybe Walmart is telling their staff that. And so if Walmart is telling their staff that, then people are just, walking right out the door with bread, cheese, a couple of TVs, But yeah, Walmart closing nearly 200 stores. So now this year, 23, they're closing 20 stores. Now that's up from them initially saying that they were closing 15 stores. Now I know they closed a store here in Atlanta, and it wasn't necessarily a bad neighborhood. It was a decent neighborhood, but it was in a pocket. It was kind of the in between bad and good. But yeah, they're closing a store here in Atlanta too. I think there's one more in Georgia, maybe South Georgia. But yeah, they're closing a store in Atlanta. So, excuse me. So yeah, 200 stores since 2016. 20 stores this year, that's up from 15. And they're closing 8 stores in Illinois, altogether in Illinois. 4 of the stores are in Chicago. Man, Chicago is having a real problem right now. They're teenagers with the city. I don't know what's going on with the teenagers. I haven't dug into that to see what the issue is, but it's teenagers all over the place. And I'm willing to bet these teenagers don't have 2 parents in the household. I don't know. I'm just willing to bet. These teenagers are tearing up downtown Chicago. But yeah, Walmart closing stores all over the place. Open Door, that is the e-commerce real estate company. They are pretty much having some issues. Their stock price pretty much plummeting from, I think it was an all-time high of $34 down to, at last I checked on Thursday maybe, it was at $1.50 a share. Man, they are really having some issues with Open Door. So I know the shorts are having some fun with that. So I don't know if Open Door is gonna, pretty much be going out of business or not, or just, not being, or, staying away from the stock market. Normally when these companies get down below $3 and especially $1, they try to do a reverse stock split so that they can maintain their credentials to be on the stock market. So yeah, but we'll see. We'll keep an eye out on that. So near the end of the week, you had some other companies report earnings. Procter & Gamble was one of them. Their stock ended up popping, going up 3.5% yesterday to 156 a share, and by them beating their earnings. Procter & Gamble is pretty much, they'll be around. There's some of they got some of the household items and they'll pretty much never go away. You'll never stop using the paper towels, tissue, all of that stuff that Procter & Gamble has. So Amazon, excuse me. Amazon stock price jumped 3%, but they haven't even reported earnings yet. They're reporting next week. When next week, I'm not sure. But their stock price jumped 3%, and they're up to 107 a share. Now, and this is even on news that Whole Foods is doing some restructuring with their employees, where they're going to end up laying off like 0.5% of their staff. I'm not sure how many people that they have employed right now, but yeah. So Amazon, who owns Whole Foods, is pretty much going through some layoffs where they're gonna end up laying off 0.5% of their workforce. But that's pretty much it for the week. That's a roundup. So yeah, so we'll see what next week brings, and we'll talk about that further on next Saturday. And that's gonna be a wrap, man. I'm just Major. This is the weekend. Peace.